and after each side exchanged missile attacks. Here with us now to break this down further is Jamil Jaffer, a founder and executive director of the National Security Institute. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me just start with this breaking news. We were going to talk to you about the ceasefire agreement that seems now to have only held for, what, 2, maybe 3 hours? What are your thoughts, and how concerning is it that the ceasefire agreement, at least for right now, seems like it's not holding up?
Well, Alicia, obviously, this is very concerning because the reason why the U.S. got involved to try and broker a clear ceasefire between India and Pakistan is because we apparently had received some alarming intelligence about a potentially significant escalation take place over the weekend. Unclear what that intelligence was, but it got Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio directly involved in negotiations to broker what President Trump announced as an immediate and full ceasefire. Now, if that's broken, and we're seeing these reports now of attacks apparently by Pakistan, allegedly according to the Indian Foreign Ministry in Kashmir, Indian-controlled Kashmir, Srinagar in particular, if that's correct, that could result in a response. And then this escalation that the U.S. was worried about, that this intelligence came from, could take place. And between two nuclear armed powers, Alicia, that's obviously very dangerous.
Yeah, to that point, we had Congressman Rulli on here earlier in the show, basically saying that if this is not held up, if escalation continues, to his quotes, this could be the end of the world. Is that a dramatization? I don't think so, based on what you just said right there.
Well, we've all seen these simulations of how nuclear wars might go, and a limited attempt to have a nuclear exchange never works. It ends up resulting in a lot of nuclear weapons being launched all around the world. Everyone wants to avoid that. Nobody wants that. Not India, not Pakistan, not the United States. So I think there will be very direct diplomacy and engagement by a lot of major powers to try and prevent that from happening. The key here is to prevent what is obviously a very tense situation resulting from terrorist attacks and then the Indian response, and now a potential back and forth that have got to be tamped down. There's got to be a ceasefire, and maybe you'll have to respect that on both sides.
To your point, that is why the U.S. stepped in, reached this initial agreement that it was only held for a few hours. And also, earlier today, we spoke with News Nation, the State Department, Tammy Bruce, on the role that the United States played in this mediation. Take a listen really quick to what she had to say.
President Trump has made it clearly at the very beginning of his administration the North Star of what matters to him, which is to be a peacemaker. And that's something that can only happen when the world takes you seriously, understands your power, your influence, and the strength of the United States itself matters.
How important is it, especially now in the context of the last hour or so, is it that the United States play a role in these conversations and ongoing, hopefully, mediation?
Well, look, I think the Secretary of State spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, is exactly right. The United States needs to be strong, taken seriously, and we can only do that when people believe that we will use our power for good and that we will use our power if necessary to both prevent conflicts, but also to end conflicts where aggression takes place. So we've got to defend our allies, be strong adversaries to our enemies, and everyone has to understand and respect that. We'll see if that works here for the Trump administration. Right now, it looks like it worked temporarily. We'll see how long it lasts. And again, we're obviously going to get re-engaged. The key I want to emphasize, though, is we don't know if there was a potential nuclear exchange being considered. All we know is there was alarming intelligence. But of course, the fear is with two nuclear armed powers is that's what's in the cards. Nobody wants to see that at all.
Yeah, we're going to continue to follow the story that's developing at this hour right now. But let me pivot to this, another situation of a ceasefire that doesn't seem to be able to hold up, the situation in Ukraine. Today marks the end of a 3-day ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Now, both sides, of course, have accused each other of violating the agreement. And we've seen this happen as European Union, the United States, have been making this effort to have this longer 30-day halt. Do you think we get there? We see that soon, and that Russia will accept, especially with the concerns of sanctions potentially being posed by the U.S.?
Well, look, Alicia, it's finally getting to the point where Russia now understands the U.S. means business. For a while there, Russia thought that the U.S. was going to put all the pressure on Ukraine and no pressure on them. Vice President J.D. Vance and President Trump has now made clear Vladimir Putin has got to stop his bad behavior. He's got to stop conducting missile attacks on Kyiv if they want to get to a deal, and they have to make a fair deal, a reasonable deal. Russia was the aggressor party in this from the beginning. They're the ones who invaded Ukraine in 2014, did it again in 2022. If this war is going to come to an end, it has to be Russia giving something up as well. Finally, the United States, I think, is going to make that point and is going to use its power for that purpose. We'll see how that goes again. But to date, we haven't yet gotten that ceasefire. It needs to happen.
Really quickly, I'm out of time, but do you think Russia concedes soon?
Who knows? Vladimir Putin needs to give in. He needs to understand the U.S. will do whatever it takes to push back if he doesn't.
I think the world is hoping that he does. Thank you so much, Jamil Jaffer. Thanks again.
Thanks, Alicia.
All right, another story we've been